Chris.
Kieran.
With a special guest, Lee, the Mediocre Modeller. Hello. Here to battle mental health through the lens of nerddom. How have you guys been doing for the past festive season and all that?
Yeah, not too bad. Thank you very much for asking. Survived. That's about it, really. Christmas was really good. Got to spend a lot of time with my brothers. Got to meet my nephews.
Nice.
And got some baby cuddles, ate a whole bunch of food. Couldn't fit any more food in my mouth, and then I was like, and then had a bit of family emergency just beforehand. I'm sorry that we couldn't make the last episode.
Yeah, it's all good. Doing it now.
But there's essentially my brother had to go to hospital, and then I had to rush him to it, and then he was like, "Oh no, it's fine," and I'm like, "It's not fine. Let's go to the hospital now." He had to have a whole bunch of teeth out, and had a drain into the side of his jaw, and it was not very nice. So
grim.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I hope people aren't eating when they listen to this.
Not anymore.
Nice way to forward.
Survived over Christmas, and then New Year's, we went out, didn't we? And then,
it was fun.
It's good little giggle. Yeah. What about you, Lee? How was it?
So Christmas for me is normally, it's probably rehashed a lot of topics from your last one, but Christmas for me is normally not a good time of year at all. I tend to hermit for all of December.
No, that's right.
It's my sort of survival method for it, but overall, not too bad. Christmas Day was spent with my partner and some friends, kind of just cooked a roast and had some drinks and things, and it was pretty pleasant. With no sort of festive pressure on anyone, which is a big part of what grates me through the season. Is the mandatory fun thing, and I'm like, I hate it.
I completely
having no pressure. All of us were I had some of my painting work in the corner for if I just didn't want to do any Christmassy things, everyone was fine with me just buggering off and doing a bit of painting for a bit if I wanted to, and that sort of thing. So actually, a remarkably decent one for me, which is very rare. But then the week after it, I was just ill. From Boxing Day through New Year's, I was just bedridden for a couple of days. Couldn't even focus on reading comics. It was that bad. So that really helped with the old mental health. Not being able to do any of my coping mechanisms. But, got through it. And then was out New Year's, with you two. Same place. So New Year's was decent. And then since then, it's been just a couple of gentle recovery days. And now I'm sort of hitting back into my stride of doing too much.
Awesome. Not amazing, doing too much.
In the way I do. If I don't do things, then... that's when the thoughts creep in.
Don't like that.
What about you, Sav? How was your Christmas?
Not amazing. So I literally started getting horrifically ill around 4 p.m. on Christmas Day.
Wonderful.
So that was excellent. Wasn't able to eat Christmas dinner with my family or anything. I was just in my room trying not to die. And then got on antibiotics for a horrific chest infection. But now I'm fully recovered.
Nice.
Even though it was nearly 5 days of absolute hell.
Wonderful.
But hey, this is going to be a fun podcast. Well, fun things, but also some dark things.
Some very, very dark things, yeah.
So there's a preface for all of that. This will get quite dark at some points. Just acknowledge that and skip past it if you need to.
Yeah, or just pause it, take some time, make sure that you're prepared if anything gets a bit too dark or triggers you in any way, or just it makes you feel uncomfortable for a bit, or you need to just take a break. Please do. There's absolutely no judgment there.
Exactly.
I have to do it sometimes. Everyone does have to do it sometimes. Just hope you had a fantastic Christmas too.
Yeah. So a quick little thing, have you been playing anything, reading anything cool, or anything like that?
I'm getting into loads of... periodically, right? So as a kid, I always used to be massively into dinosaurs, and periodically I get I don't know, a weird hyperfixation on dinosaurs, and that's what I've been doing over the Christmas period. I've been playing. So I started off. I used to play the Isle a lot, and I had a whole bunch of server friends and everything, and I started to play that, and I'm this isn't feeling right. I don't know. I don't really like the Isle. It's a bit quiet and it's a bit scary, and it's just It gets like spooky in here when you got like a T-Rex walking next to you and you're hiding in a bush and you're just like shitting yourself.
Is that in game or
in and out of game? Wear nappies, everyone. Wear nappies.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored. No, but I started to play. I got a Switch, Nathan. I bought myself a Switch just before Christmas, and I was like, what games can I get on the Switch instead? And there's Path of Titans, which is epic.
Okay.
Yeah, it's got like you've got like sea dinosaurs, like aerial dinosaurs, and you've got everything in between. And yeah, it's really really fun. Been running around as like this weird like bat raptor which like latches onto the side of like Tyrannosaurus Rexes and then just like sucks the blood out of them, and I'm just like, no, fly off again. I'm just like, yes. Like a dinosaur and vampire. Yeah. What about you, Nick?
Count Dracula.
like digitally? I've been. I think Blood Bowl 3 has been sort of my gaming focus at the minute.
Nice.
We with the gaming club we played through a league recently. It's my first league I've played since the 90s. So I'm trying to sort of relearn the game, and I did awful in the tabletop league. So I'm playing a lot of digital where I can just goof about a bit. I can do stupid team setups. I can try things that, if you're playing in person, is kind of wasting someone's time.
Yeah.
So I'm titting around a lot against the computer, just trying out teams, trying out things, sort of just messing about. It helps me learn it.
Yeah.
Because if you sit down opposite someone and want to play 6 games in a row and you're just being stupid the whole time, they're having a bad experience as well, and a game is 2-player. So a lot of digital Blood Bowl. In person, because a lot of tabletop gaming is more my thing than digi-gaming, I have recently just got into Rumble Slam.
Rumble Slam, what's that?
It's a miniatures wrestling game. It was always going to get me. I'm a wrestling fan and a miniature gaming fan. I've known about this game for a couple of years, and I just have always intentionally not looked at it.
Yeah.
I looked at it in November, and now I have a full roster and a ring. I had one demo game and bought in hard.
Nice.
It's great fun. It's very silly.
The characters are very punny, aren't they?
Yeah,
as well?
there's a lot of like generic characters, but there's a lot of ones based off of like wrestling characters. Like the one that springs to mind is the Chameleon. It's a chameleon that is John Cena inspired.
You can't see me.
Yeah, they did a special edition model that was made in clear resin as well.
Yeah.
I haven't got that one annoyingly, but so a lot of that in tabletop, and Blood Bowl 3 digital, and then like reading wise, just catching up on my backlog because I've got a big stack next to my bed that I've just not read through. So where I was bedridden for a few days ill, I was like, right, comics time.
Yeah.
So it's chugging through a lot of like the Absolute Carnage arc from a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Nice.
Good arc.
And then did the Maximum Venom or Venomverse?
Yeah, Venomverse.
Yeah, there's like 2 or 3 different symbiote arcs that I've got in my big to read pile. I've been chugging through them.
You're massively into that.
So that's what's been keeping me busy.
Give me a Steam details after this, and if not, play Blood Bowl 3 as well, so we can play.
It's cross-platform, so I'm not on Steam, but if you've got it on Steam, you can play against me on PlayStation.
Oh, nice. Jump on. Cool.
Works. Might even just pick up. Just do that as well.
It's epic, honestly. Yeah.
I've been meaning to pick up. It was just like I knew it had a load of teething problems when it first came out, so it was like put on the back burner a bit.
Blood Bowl 3 was Blood Bowl 2. I played until my eyes bled.
Yeah, too.
And I was just like, I love this game. I haven't played this since the 90s. And then Blood Bowl 3, although there's like 2 settings for it though, you can either put it into the what is it, realism or something like that, where it's just like it's playing and the computer just cheats all the time, or you can play it in the old school kind of just like the board game kind of section, and you're rolling all the dice and everything else like that, and you're like, yeah, great, and then the computer only cheats half the time. Yay! But it's a great game.
So I have been massively addicted to Marvel Rivals. massively addicted. And I haven't really played a lot of FPS PvP or third person PvP stuff.
It's a MOBA, isn't it?
No, it's a hero shooter. It's like a third person hero shooter, a bit like Overwatch, but since Overwatch 2 is well, everyone's kind of left that. They've all kind of jumped onto Rivals, and it's a fun, like, not super, not like a shooter that you really have to know a load of things about and everything, which is nice. Really fun, like, pick up and play, and it's got tons of badass Marvel characters, and me being a massive comic book geek is perfect. So I've just been running around as, like, Moon Knight and Magneto and stuff, just messing people's days up, and it's been absolutely glorious. And then I've also been highly addicted to Marvel Snap, which has randomly grabbed me and put its claws into me, and I may have been up till 3 a.m. in the morning playing Marvel Snap.
It's easily done.
I'm a little bit tired.
Is it literally Snap, but with Marvel characters?
No, in like some ways, yes, but they've all got like their own little abilities, and you've got like lands to put on which have other abilities and stuff as well. Not a lot of like, not actually much like pay to win like mechanic stuff that they put into a lot of these games, which is really nice, like breath of fresh air. I've also just started the new Indiana Jones game, which is amazing.
I've heard good things about that. Yeah.
So good.
I've heard like really weird reviews and also like very mixed reviews. Like, I've heard like absolutely like 5-star reviews, and then like random people just giving it like a 1-star and it's terrible, and I'm like, I don't know why.
It's like the prelude to the game, like where it's like teaching you how to do things, is Temple of Doom, which is excellent. Yeah, so you get to do the whole like pour out some of the sand, switch from the idol, and then like run away as the boulder's coming down. Like, this is amazing. And I'm in the Vatican City beating up fascists and finding out mysteries. So it's
not
really
to love.
fun. Yeah. Absolutely perfect. Catching up on some reading. Grabbed some comics the other week from Excelsior, where we are today, based.
Oh yeah, we didn't mention that.
Nearly completely forgot.
Yeah.
So that tied in a bit.
It's Excelsior Games.
Excelsior Games. Their new store just opposite TK Maxx in Broadmead. It's excellent place. Definitely come up and play some games, whatever you want to play, like card games, tabletop, board games, anything. Or just grab some comics.
It's on Merchant Street in Broadmead. Just to add the detail in.
Yeah, there we go.
There's also a group here in here that plays 140k, I believe. I'm not sure what they're called.
I wonder, Lee, can you tell us?
Excellent segue there. Shameless plug time. That all the miniature gaming stuff here, Warhammer 40k AOS, Old World, and other stuff like Drop Zone Commander, basically any miniatures gaming, is all run by my gaming club, Bristol Gaming Collective, who I've been running the creature that became that club for over a decade. Sort of set BGC up with a few friends, and we used to have our own space, and we found our new home here. Working with Excelsior and running all the miniatures game. We've got a bunch of events coming up soon. We've got a whole big old calendar of events that we're going to be announcing at some point.
That's how I met you, actually, isn't it? Like, around the one just behind the train station, wasn't it?
Our old venue space. We've got the whole 2025 event calendar planned. We just need to sort of get over the New Year hangovers and get our arse into gear organising it all.
Yeah, makes sense.
But the announcements are starting to come out for those. So.
Nice. Have you also got a Discord as well, haven't you?
Yeah, the Bristol Gaming Collective. Yeah, we got we're on like Facebook and Insta, but that's more of just a landing page kind of thing. They're not very active. The Discord's where our community's at. So Excelsior have their own one. We've got ours for miniature gaming. Yeah, loads of miniature gaming chat going on there. RPGs, historicals, all sorts of anything and everything. If it uses dice and minis, odds are people aren't going to play it.
Very, very true. I remember once, Nathan, it was like literally like whenever like you turned up and everything, it's like wherever you want to play, there will be somebody who will play it with you. Like even if it's something random that nobody's even heard of, like somebody will be like, I'm really curious, let's go.
Even if we don't have a player base for a game, it doesn't take much for you to show someone a game and they'll go,
The nerd force is strong with this one.
We've got
Some new plastic crap for me to acquire.
Lovely plastic crap.
we've got coming up in a week's time actually. Well, from day of recording, I don't know when you're actually going to drop this, but 12th of January we're doing a demo game Sunday here. Loads of little different indie miniatures games, all getting demos.
This will be released next Friday, so just in time.
Just before,
Just
smashing.
before, yeah.
So yeah, as at release day, this Sunday, come to TLCR. demos and cool games.
That'd be excellent.
I will be playing Rumble Slam and screaming at people. Like,
He's got a chair!
yeah, I will inevitably be playing a silly wrestling game.
It's fair. I really wanted to play like a little bit of that Warcry and everything that you were playing the other day.
Warcry's good.
Yeah, like I want to just make a little Nurgle team and be like, yes!
It's a good. I know we're going to segue into miniature gaming repeatedly, aren't we?
Yeah.
A lot of games like 40k, Age of Sigmar, Old World, the big army ones, they're great to play, but they are a lot of time and financial investment, which can be daunting to a lot of people. And especially if you're new to the game, like knowing what the hell to get for it before you sink a load of money in, rather than buying 200 quid worth of stuff and then going, oh, these are terrible. And then going, actually, for my army to be good, I need to buy another 200 quid. A lot of people fall into that trap with the miniature game in general. So my recommendation to people is usually start with something like Blood Bowl, Warcry, because it's a self-contained gang in a box type game. Necromunda, but you do need a player group for that because it's a much more narrative, it's more RPG type. But there's a bunch of gang in a box type games. Start with those.
Yeah.
Like if you're new to wargaming.
What's the 40k one called again?
Kill Team.
Kill Team, that's the one. Yeah, Kill Team's really good as well. Played that a couple of times, like because I fell for that trap exactly. Like I've put like 12 grand into all of my fucking 40k. Like.
Don't make me do the numbers.
Everyone asking, I'm like, over like 5 years, I've pumped way too much money into
For
it.
mental health, depress us all.
Depress us all. I've like got like too many fucking like Nurgle everything, and then I've got like 2 other like just armies of like Imperial Fists, like I've got Imperial Guard as well. That's always a bit of a sinking.
I've got I know I've got like a 2,000 point Tau army somewhere in my room. It's probably annihilated or something.
Yeah.
And then I think like nearly 1,000 points old Vampire Knights because I love fantasy that came out, and probably 2,000 points of Dark Elves. I fucking love Dark Elves.
Who doesn't? Dark Elves, both of them. They're just like so an issue.
It was the Malice Darkblade books that really got me into Dark Elves. I was like,
those books were so good.
I love this complete asshole of a character. Let's go.
Yeah, there's a good book series, the one that has that effect on a lot of people.
Yeah.
I know at least 3 other people off the top of my head, without even thinking about it, who their reason for collecting Dark Elves in fantasy was because they read Malice Darkblade.
It's so good. It covers like.
It's amazing how certain things just latch into you. Like,
don't they? Yeah, it's exactly that's like first time other than like my brother's Spaceballs when I first got into 40k. My brother was like, I don't want to play anymore. Here's all my Spaceballs, and I was like, yes. But I was reading the Malice Darkblade books, and I was like, Dark Elder,
Yeah, it's like my mate Jack, like he's got like a massive like Chaos Fantasy army, and then as soon as he was started to read like the Godric's Phoenix books in school, he was like, well, dwarves is the thing now. Got those like slayers and everything.
The Godric and Felix series, it sort of loops loosely back around to being on topic again. This Godric and Felix series was through my like formative years, was one of those books I couldn't tell you how many times I read, especially the first ones, Troll Slayer, Skaven Slayer, Demon Slayer. I couldn't tell you how many times I've read them. They were like my little escapism. There was a lot of books I escaped into, like Lord of the Rings and all the other stuff, but the Godric and Felix series saved me at various points. It was my go-to thing. I've got the first print of every single book in the series, even the modern Godric stuff that comes out.
it's amazing.
The whole collection all the way through. the whole shelf in my living room is great. Like,
I did exactly the same, and it was them, the Dragonlance novels, which got me into D&D. Like the Dragonlance novels, but just like the same kind of era, freaking fantastic. Like they're so good. And also Magician as well, by Raymond D. Feist. I've read that book more times than I can like shake a stick at. I've literally had a first edition to every other edition afterwards, and I've just broken I've read it so many times that I've broken the spine. It's disintegrated in my hands, like, and I'm like, fuck. Time to get another book.
I still need to finish because Gotrek's carried on into, although the world died and Age of Sigmar was born, Gotrek went across into the new world, which is wonderfully done.
Yeah.
They did 2 audio books or 2 audio dramas, and then a bunch of novel books in. I've got the latest 2 Gotrek books I haven't read, which is, I think, Soul Slayer Way Faces Off with the Ideneth, and Git Slayer Way Faces Off with the Moon Clan Grots of Goblins.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
See, I haven't read any of those. Like, I've read the first 3.
His story, once he gets into the Age of Sigmar setting, is wonderful. The first couple of audio dramas have been voiced by Brian Blessed, which is
Perfect.
Incredible.
perfect
Absolutely
casting.
perfect.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Gordon's alive.
But it was, I genuinely hadn't thought about how Gotrek sounded until I heard that, and then went, "This is correct."
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is no one else.
You've said it, and now it's just stuck in my brain. Now I'm like,
And it's perfect. And in the audio dramas, they were taking the piss out of all the whiny internet types who hated on Age of Sigmar and that sort of thing, by Gotrek being that. Him wandering around the Age of Sigmar setting, just yelling at all the new name things, being like, "What is this? No, that's wrong. That's stupid. What's this? That's stupid." Like meeting a carriage on Overlord and being going, "A Duardin? No, you're a dwarf boy." And that sort of then just him just telling off everything, and like finding out that just elves just live in the same cities as men and dwarves and having a tantrum about that. And but as it's gone on, he survived the World Wars, but Felix didn't. But he's found out like where souls are, and he's realised his Slayer oath has now sworn to a world that didn't exist, so he's no longer seeking his death.
Yeah.
Because he's realised the oath was now meaningless. So instead, he's trying to find what happened to Felix,
Oh, I like that.
which is leading him questing through the multiple realms of Age of Sigmar, including at one point he leads a small D&D-esque party. It's like him as a Stormcast, this dark elf. I think a man with him as well. Because Dark Elves are inside of Order now.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Within Age of Sigmar, they're in Order, because Order is not the good guys, but it's fighting against chaos and disorder.
Oh, okay.
So they fit within civilized society, within civilization.
Yeah, I suppose.
Like other parts of civilization still look at them and go, "You're weird," but they have a greater foe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, he leads this like D&D-esque party of Stormcaster, Dark Elf, a human, into the realm of death, because he's heard that all the souls from the old world, if they haven't been reborn, they're there, because the realm of death, Nagash's realm, is basically Hades from Greek mythology.
Yeah.
So he's like, cool. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to go there and find Felix. And they're like, it's not that simple. He's like, yeah, it is. I'm going to go and find Nagash, and I'm going to punch him in the face and ask where my friend is. Bear in mind, Nagash is a god.
Yeah. Literally, he smited thee with a finger.
The Stormcast kind of looking at him going, "You can't do that." And he goes, "Yes, I can. And if he won't tell me where my friend is, I'm going to punch your god next." And the Stormcast, being very unsure how to react, this one angry dwarf has just threatened to punch Sigmar in the face. And the book is the Stormcast following him, because he's like, "I need to keep an eye on this guy, because he will do that."
Yeah.
Yes, he will.
It's not, the Stormcast doesn't laugh it off. He doesn't go, "No, don't be silly, you can't do that." He goes, "He's serious.
Yeah.
He's very serious.
We need to monitor him." But it's great. It's him wandering around the realms, just trying to find out what's happened to Felix, and it's wonderfully written.
That's really cool.
Considering how much Gotrek and everything has survived and everything, I would not doubt that he would punch out Sigmar or Nagash. Like, it's a bit instant, no.
It's
It's gonna happen.
for those of us who've read the whole series from the start, from the early 90s when the first one came out,
Yeah, it was.
and seen him go from being what was originally a fairly standard like sword and sorcery, like main character energy, and when you read interviews with the original writer Bill King, he wasn't supposed to survive the first 3 books.
No.
The plan was at most the 3-book arc, and him be the climax of the original thing was him die fighting the Bloodthirster. That was originally written, and the studio went, "Yeah, don't do that though. People quite like this character. Like, give us an out." And then the original writer was like, "But the whole point of this character is he wants to die."
So he's not allowed to,
And
it's got too much main character syndrome.
It became far too much main character syndrome to become it became a trope, and it's wonderful now that seeing having grown up with it being quite formulaic for a lot of it, it's now gone past that, and it's Gotrek sort of. I don't know if I'm finding some sort of relatability in it, but he's aged into a new form of bitterness. He's aged into where he's slightly confused by the world now because it's not the world that he knows.
Yeah,
and he's a bit bitter about it all. But he's kind of finding a new purpose in this world that he's very grumpy at.
And it's like my soul right now.
And there's something about it that's like, I think that's why I still really like the series because it's like it's crushingly relatable in a weird way.
Hard for me to
Felix was always supposed to be the one you relate to, and you find yourself relating to Gertrude more and more. Shit.
Like as a kid, Nathan, I was like, Felix, lovely, look. And then I'm like, this is just angry dwarf, and then like it just, I don't know, to like give it like a level in here, like the like just goes more and more to Gertrude. It's like as time goes by, you're like, by the second book, I'm like, I kind of like Gertrude more now, please.
See, my favourite random character in the whole of all the Gertrude and Felix books. Books was always Snorri.
Snorri Nosebite.
Love him. Such a great character.
Have you read the End Times books?
I haven't read them.
He's really good. That's all I'll say about Snorri. I whilst I've kind of half spoiled a bunch of the Age of Sigmar stuff, I can, in all good conscience, spoil the plot of the End Times ones. Because if you're a fan of the Gotcha Felix series, you have to experience that story yourself. And not skim reading it on Wikipedia or whatever. Like the emotion of the End Time stuff is so well done in the Gotrek books. Because it suddenly goes from being this tropic bunch of guys who will survive everything because there's another book. You know they're going to be in the next book, so it's fine. So suddenly in the End Times, anything can happen. Like they encounter other named characters from Warhammer Fantasy, and normally when that happens, they'll get out fine. Not in the End Times.
No.
People don't make it out the End Times. The whole planet goes boom. So spoilers.
That's why it's called the End Times.
But there's a lot of... It's a two-parter in End Times. It goes into a lot of Gotrek's backstory. It explains why he is a Slayer.
Oh, that's very interesting.
And lots of things like that. And that's kind of all I can really say about it without spoiling it.
Let's
it's worth reading.
It's definitely... I really want to check it out, as well.
And you don't have to have read every single one up to that point, because I think it's like 10 before then.
I think
so. If you know the characters, especially if you already know Snorri and that sort of thing, and if you know Felix's past with Ulrika, you don't have to have read the whole series, because there's not much plot nuance happens, but however many of them you've read, the End Times ones tie all up. Wonderfully.
I really need to reread those because I can't remember half of that. Last time I read them was in the early 2000s, late 90s. So time to reread those and then keep going.
Definitely.
There's so many books, and we could talk about books for all day. Actually, have you ever read the Dragonlance novels with Race Lynn and Cameron?
I've not read a huge amount. No.
Oh, they're just the amount of weird fantasy tropes and everything that Dungeons and Dragons just was all made from these books first of all, and then going like that, like the fucking bard, this is where it comes from. And also it being a trope in every single Dungeons & Dragons just game that we've ever played. Mahis, Jad Baljar, at your service. Which was my fucking bard.
See, I was a little Anne Rice goth child reading
I did that as well,
and everything. So, ask me anything about Lestat or any of those vampires or Armand or anything.
Have you ever read the Anita Blake series?
No.
So the Anita Blake series, is all about vampires, detectives, necromancers. The main character is a necromancer detective, which walks into crime scenes and goes, "Who killed you?" This dude, cool. There we go. Now we can arrest him. And then by the time it's the 8th book, it then just turns into smut, absolute filth. Like the first like 8 books and everything, they're like interesting. There's a little bit of smart, but like tastefully done. Like it's very nice, and there's a lot of story. By the 8th book and everything, it's like it literally just starts off with a blowjob, and you're like, okay, I'm reading a smart now, and you're just like, just gonna gently put this down, and yes, deal with this awkward boner somewhere else.
Have you ever read the Dresden Files?
No.
Oh, they're great. By Jim Butcher. They're absolutely excellent. Follows Dresden, who is he lives in like New York City. He's a wizard. Like he works with like the police force, but a lot of people in the police force go like, "Wizard, fucking kidding?" And like, no. I'm an actual wizard. Like, I will deal with shit you have no idea about. Fuck off.
I'm not doing fucking card tricks. You can't.
Yeah. He's just really like, I've dealt with all this shit all my life. I can't be asked for your bullshit anymore.
Yeah.
Just let me solve this goddamn crime. Get on with it. And he's got like this hilariously sarcastic talking skull. In his apartment that just like has a go at him when he's being a dumbass and everything like that. It's absolutely excellent. Definitely check it out.
Very nice. The Magician books as well. So Remedy Feist has got like, I don't know how many bloody books there is now. There's one new one every single year. I think it's about 20-ish books. But like the first 3 are like my main ones, right, that I've read through, right? And Magician, just as a book by itself, stands up. Like you can just read the Magician book. It's a massive book. It's about like, the size of like the length of your hand almost, like the width of your hand. It's a massive book, and it starts off with like so there's 2 main characters in it, but there is so many different arcs, and there's so much politics in it. It's unbelievable. But essentially, there's Pug and Thomas. They're 2 like kids in this town of Credie, which is like this tiny little just outskirts of the Empire kind of town, right? And they're both kitchen boys, right? Thomas's dad is Megar, who's like the head of the kitchens, and like Pug is like has been adopted into their family because he was just left out in the woods, and like they found him in a basket. And we're like, where the fuck did this dude go? And then like Megar the cook and everything, and like it goes through like serfdom and stuff like that, and then like but like he gets Thomas gets apprenticed to like the sword master, and Pug gets apprenticed to like the tower, like the actual town's magician. Okay. And because like no one picks him, and then like he gets like stuck out outside a storm when Megar sends him out crabbing one year. I could literally go through the entire freaking book. I've read this so many goddamn times. I'm going to just abbreviate it a little bit more because I'm like, and then.
Turns into a book review podcast.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I could I'm just going to pull out the I'm just going to pull out the book I keep a reference. Once upon a time in that.
Wait a minute. You'll be struck down if you start reading that one.
But it's a great book. Thomas becomes like a dragon prince, and Pug becomes literally like the greatest friggin' like one of the greatest friggin' like magicians of all time. There's also like another world that's like these portals keep opening up on, and like these dudes are just like they've got no metal whatsoever, and like but they're really like think like Imperial Japan, right?
Oh yeah.
Like but they're wearing like this pottery armor, and all they can think of is war, right? They weren't even thinking about, oh yeah, you know what, there's like rusted swords just laid on the ground, maybe they've got loads of metal and like they might be able to be trading. They didn't think of that. Like they were just like, war, we must go, yes. And then how they like deal with it, and then there's a whole bunch of other stuff as well. It's great. It's a fantastic book. That just the one book, just if anyone who's nerdy, just read that one book. It's great. I've read it more times than I could literally take a sticker, like thousands of times. Whenever I'm ill, like cranky, just a random day, I'll just start reading it. It's great. Anyway, sorry, I feel like I've gone on a tangent.
No, that's completely fine.
This is the place to do it, I suppose. We are on a podcast. But
So, what do we want to talk about next? Do we want to jump more into wargaming and Warhammer armies and stuff like that?
We could do. Let's go painting. I think.
Yeah.
I think painting's probably going to be like the best thing to go into.
Comes back around onto the mental health topic.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Like it does, because like don't get me wrong, we've got the professional in our midst, but like I must say, like the painting is just one of those activities that like whenever you've got like you're getting a whole bunch of shit and you're feeling really anxious and like just need some time out, very much like your Christmas, wasn't it? It's like you just go and paint and the entire world disappears. And it's just like one just little brush stroke at a time, and you're just concentrating on this tiny little model, I think, or this canvas, and then you just start to start the painting. It's beautiful. What about you? How have you found it?
Yeah, for me, it's. I mean, I've been doing the wargaming type hobby longer than I have active memory, which isn't very long. I've got memory issues, but no, it's ballpark like probably 25 years, if not longer. And yeah, painting's always been a thing. Like no matter what in my life has gone wrong, or what situation I found myself in, for good or for bad, just sitting down, some music on, or a bit of like crap TV in the background, just for some noise, and then just painting away at stuff. And yeah, I do a lot of painting work these days as well. Some of which still gives me that same sort of like thing. Some of which is arduous. But work's working. It's different thing.
Yeah, that's true.
And I can occasionally I'll be sat at my desk and I'll do like 7 hours of painting work on something I'm doing for work. I find it quite arduous, and then to relax from it, I just put it to one side and grab a different tray of things and sit painting. And to other people, it would seem odd, but it's different things in my head. It's painting what I want to paint.
Yeah, it's something that you actually like want to do for like maybe like one of your armies, or like something you've like had in your brain for a long period of time. It's like let's do this. This is what I love.
With my personal stuff as well, one thing I try and do, so advice I get to a lot of people as well. A lot of people we mentioned about people buy in big with say a big Space Marine army, and then they feel like, oh, I've got to paint this until it's done, and they set themselves a chore. Yeah. If it's your hobby, don't do that.
Yeah.
Like, I personally have of my own things. Like, I'm not painting work is different, but my personal things, I have at any given time at least 3 projects on my painting desk of mine, and they're 3 different things. So right now, I've got the last few members of Thorin's company for Lord of the Rings. My next Necromunda gang, which is kind of a bolt-on to my previous one, but they're like weird, scabby underhive mutants converted from the Age of Sigmar ghoul fellas, the flesh eater courts. And I've got my Chaos Dwarf Blood Bowl team. So it's 3 quite different colour palettes, 3 quite different techniques. All 3 of them sit on my desk. So if I sit and do some stuff myself, rather than going, oh, I've got to finish this Chaos Dwarf Blood Bowl team. Sometimes with events and stuff, sometimes you do have a deadline. Yeah, you do. But sometimes, like a Chaos Dwarf Blood Bowl team, I'd like to have it painted for the next league that my club's going to run, but I can use unpainted models if needs be. Yeah. So there's no actual deadline. So I sit down and I don't force myself to do one particular thing. I'll sit down and go, what do I fancy painting of these? And I'll grab that one, because then I find it relaxes me more. Ultimately, actually, I churn it out at a better rate and a quicker rate if it's something I want to be doing.
With better quality as well.
Yeah, it's a much healthier way of doing it.
It helps with the brain.
Yeah, like it's kind of like just following the bliss. Do you know what I mean? Like when I find I get like hyper fixated on one, and then like one thing, like a box of things, or like just one project, and then I can move on to the next one. But I can't really seem to find a way to like space all 3 out. Like I did my Mortarion in like a week, right? And then my hand was like a claw, because every waking moment was just Mortarion. And I was like, but I get that way as well. Like,
I guess it depends on how much time you personally have available for painting as well. For me, it's a lot of things like if I'm doing commissioned work, sometimes if I'm chugging through work stuff, I find the rate I'm doing the work will slow down. Sometimes I do big batches of like 60 troops at the same time. Yeah. So doing a single colour across all 60 can be quite draining. Yeah. So often I'll do a single colour across all 60, and then rather than immediately starting on the next, I'll be like, cool, I'm going to do a little bit of my own stuff. Yeah. So for me, I don't necessarily sit down for 6 hours to do my own painting for 6 hours. I do a drip feed here and there through my day.
Yeah, makes sense.
And through my time kind of thing. But for people, who don't, paint all the time myself. It's sort of accepting what painting time you have available and what you can do within that. Setting yourself reasonable limits, setting yourself reasonable goals. Don't let your relaxation become a stress. As well.
Very, very true.
It's such a thing for me, and like one of the big things I've been pushing a lot of people at the club and in general as well is like the find your level.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the great and terrible things with the much more prevalent like internet YouTube channels with loads of pro painters. Like if you follow hobby stuff on social media, you can't blink for not seeing like Golden Demon standard stuff daily. And it feels oppressive, in a way. It feels like you can end up finding yourself in a pit of like, feel like that's the normal standard. If you follow too many of those things, and you get really down on your level.
I've definitely felt that, because like I haven't really done any like painting and stuff since I was like around like 18, 19. So that was like quite a long time ago now, and I keep like thinking of like maybe getting back into it every now and again. But like like on my like Instagram, like Facebook, like everything, like it's all filled with these like immensely like painted models and everything, and I'm just like
it can be simultaneously really great and inspirational and also a bit soul crushing. And it's, I mean, what's the phrase? It's perfect's the enemy of good. But yeah, it's part of the sort of reason for my branding being Mediocre Modeller. It's embrace and accept your mediocrity. Accept you'll never be the best, which sounds negative, but when you think about it through like
actually a much healthier balance.
It sounds like a negative statement, but the way I always explain to people is when you think about, say, running. Loads of people go running. None of them are going to be Usain Bolt.
No.
He's the best at running for now.
Yeah.
But at some point soon, someone will be better at running than he was. But that doesn't make him not good, and that doesn't make people who go out and do it, on a Sunday afternoon, it doesn't make them not content with their level of running. They shouldn't not do it. Like they shouldn't go, I'm not going to go for a run because I'm not going to be Usain Bolt. They should still do it.
That would be absolutely
it'll be insane.
It would be insane, wouldn't it?
So but that's why I word it in that way, because you put it in that context and it's obvious how stupid that is. So with painting, accept that you're not going to be Jacob Ruud-Nielsen. Accept you're not going to win 3 Slayer swords and however many Golden Demons the guy's at now.
Probably a billion,
But accept you're not going to be that guy. Except you're not even going to be. I'm trying to think of some like decent, but like mid, like not award winning, but like Louise Sugden, who used to work for Games Workshop, who now has her own hobby channel. She's really good at painting. She did it as a job for Games Workshop for years, and now effectively does it as a job for her channel. She's doing it as a job. Except you're not necessarily going to be that good. It sounds negative. Without sounding like egotistical, it's except you're not going to be as good as me when you start. I do it as a job. I paint for 40, 50 hours a week, at least. I've not really done a time counter because numbers would scare me.
You're like 62 hours a week.
My painted model tally last year was over 1,000 models painted.
Nice.
That's commission and personal, and that includes a Warhound Titan. But I've got there by years of practice.
Kieran would just go, it's big.
For reference, people who don't know, Warhound Titan is like about 1.5 foot tall. So it's a big like £1,000 forge-rolled kit.
It's like a tall 5-year-old.
Probably costs about as much. But like it's finding your unhappy, finding your level, but within that, also accepting you can always improve. Always. Everyone can always improve. I can always improve. Even Jacob Ruud-Nielsen can improve more. Everyone can always improve. There is no perfect.
This fallacy, right, it can be kind of shown in so many different ways because people often compare themselves to others, right? Never ever compare yourself to another person. Compare yourself to the person you were yesterday, right? Like when I started like 5 years ago, right? There's I did a whole bunch of it when I was a kid, right? Stopped because teenagers and I got into a bit of drugs and drinking and all those kind of things, and then I went through a divorce from 5 years ago, and then I was like, I have a whole bunch of money now. Let's start painting. And I'm inside a new city. I need something to do during lockdown. I'm going to do fuck tons of painting.
Oh, yeah.
And like, thankfully, I kind of knew that because I was kind of a bit isolated, right? I was a bit like, fuck me, I can never be that good. But then I was like actually looking at my first model, which was Imperial Fist Space Marine, right? And all my Imperial Fists are all different colours of yellow because I couldn't find a single yellow. I had to mix my own. So every single time I had to like mix a fucking yellow, and I'm like, oh no, what the fuck? Like all of, like not even like from like squad to squad, they're every like 18 different types of yellow, right? Until like I found something a bit later on, and now they're all looking very, very perfect. And I'm like, this is uniform and lovely. But look at all of these. My first model and everything is like, you know, that like the worst model that's ever been painted. Like it's just like, you know, with all the clumps and like everything else. Like it's almost like that, and I'm like, that is the most perfect model I've ever had because that's how I started. Right? And then look at this.
It's a learning curve. It's being able to see your improvement in things, and it doesn't necessarily have to just be in quality of things. It can also be in the time it takes you to do things. Like I know some people who, through the gaming club, I see loads of people come in, and some people they'll spend like 3 days painting their first Space Marine. Paint it, it'll look great. They spend 3 days on one. It's like, cool, you're doing an army, you need 100 of those buggers. Yeah. And then they'll come in a month later and they'll be like, oh, I took your advice on this and this and this, and like I sat down and painted, you know, did 5 of them at a time, and did the same colour across 5, and got the 5 done in the time they did 1 previously. Yeah. To the same sort of level. And it's that sort of thing. It's improvement in multiple things.
A really great like phrase for this, that my therapist told me about, right, is that bring curiosity, not judgment. Right? You're curious about a new technique, right? How do I make this thing do like this? I've got an idea in my head. How do I make it like this? Right? You're thinking about it curiously, and you're like, cool, let's fuck it up, right? And like let's learn ourselves, right? And like bring curiosity, not judgment. Because if you're sitting there and going, I'm miles away from this person, like I can't create this. How the fuck do I do it? Let's do it. Let's try it. Fuck it. Like if you bring curiosity and just fuck it up, and then slowly get better, like that's so much more rewarding, and also like it's the best mindset for it. Like
experimentation is fun.
Yeah, exactly. Well. But as long as you bring the fun, right? It means like there's that mindset of. I really like that, by the way. Mediocre Modeller is like really a good mindset to have. It's like, yeah, I'm mediocre. There we go. Like, but you know, I can do it like this. How do you like this? Instead,
it's a lot of my techniques and stuff that I use. A lot of them I can teach to other people really quickly. Yeah, it's for me, it's the speed and that sort of thing. I mean, the both of us two. I'm sorry, pointing at Kieran. We were on a friend's YouTube thing recently where I painted miniatures in the back of Kieran's car.
All you can see is the back of my head and just hair for most of it. But yeah.
We will link this YouTube video in the show notes as well.
But yeah, within that, I was painting a bunch of rusty models, and I loosely talked through my technique there. And I can sit and show anyone that technique, and they can practice it, give an afternoon practicing it, and they'll be able to do it as well as I do it. And a lot of my techniques I can teach people like that. Yeah. It's that sort of thing as well. It's like people just be willing to ask. Even some of the like. A lot of the high-end painters I've encountered and stuff will sit and natter with you about how they've done a thing. You might not necessarily be able to do that straight away. If you don't ask, you're never going to know.
Yeah, very true.
Like when I was first starting out, and like I was like, I really want to go to Nottingham, right? Because my flatmate at the time and everything, like his parents lived up there, so it was really quite an easy trip to go to. We can go there, stay at his parents, we can have a bit of a giggle, right? Went up there and everything for the first time, just with me and him. He's not into modelling at all, but he's like, I'll come for the adventure. I've never been there, even though I've lived like around the corner from it most of my life. And I'm like, damn you, you're at the nerd mecca around the corner from like, you can literally walk from his mum and dad's house to there, and like, you can like around the corner from the greatest thing that I've ever wanted. But I sat there, right, and like he wanted to just go and have a bit of a wander and everything, so I sat down. Did a bit of painting, just at like their main painting station there, and I just was sitting there and I was like putting together a whole bunch of Plague Marines, right? Yeah. And I learned like loads just from chatting to the dude in front of me. I don't know who that dude was. He's probably a professional painter, but like he's probably somebody absolutely famous. But he was just like a big bearded dude who was just like, he was like really helping me out with like how to like change like the outlook of what I wanted. and like teaching me about basing and stuff like that, and like sometimes painting it like basing it black, what kind of effect that had, and like just really basic techniques. But then like was helping me with like the more detailed stuff and like how to like properly hold like the brush and everything for certain like effects and stuff. And he was just showing me just by sitting opposite me, and I was like, I learned loads just from like talking to a random dude just sitting there. Like it was great. Like
that's kind of like, when it ties into, I guess if we come around to the gaming thing a bit, that ties into a lot of what I'd say during the gaming part.
Yeah.
Like, the community within it is such an important thing to me. Like the painting is all well and good for sitting at home on your own and helping your mental health, which is a very important, very good thing to do.
Definitely.
You need to have that mechanism, that tool. If you don't know how to exist in your own, with yourself, then you can't exist with other people as well, can you? You have to be comfortable with yourself in your own space, and you have to have something as an outlet, be it computer gaming, be it like whatever. And mine in a big way is painting. And you have to be that, and you can't make it a thing that you hate. I know so many people who their thing they used to love was computer gaming, but they've got so into particular gaming, like the one that springs to mind right now, just 'cause I can see it on your monster can there at Call of Duty. I know some people who used to love that back in the day, and now they still play it religiously, but they hate it and it makes them angry. And I'm like, just stop playing it. Put it down. If it's only causing you grief, it's not something you enjoy anymore. Why are you choosing to do that? Like, because like find the thing that gives you that mental comfortableness.
Yeah, for years and years I used to do that whole thing, play like Call of Duty when they came out, dived onto multiplayer, maybe stayed on multiplayer for about a week, and then went, why do I always do this? I know I hate everyone on here. This is just making me rage more than anything. And I would never play it, ever. The only thing I'll play is campaign zombies, because that's all co-op, and that's fun. It's only yourself to blame when the zombies pile around you because you've stuck yourself in a corner.
It's why I personally don't play a lot of like online digital gaming. Like, I do a lot of digital gaming, but I prefer like things like Assassin's Creed and that sort of thing, because I take it at my own pace, that sort of stuff, and the online stuff, be it versus or co-op, only stresses me out.
That's right.
I don't get any enjoyment from it, so I don't play a lot of it.
See, I quite like a lot of multiplayer games, right? But I normally like to play multiplayer games with my friends. Like, I've played Dota and League by myself before, right? And I did that for years, like maybe with like the odd, like with my brother coming in or something like that, and like we'd play a bit of a duo lane or something. But like, it's no fun when you're like that, right? I was so much stress. I was just like, just gives me rage. Like, that's all it does. And then like, I then just made a whole bunch of friends from that. I'm still friends with them now, and like, I was chatting to them last night actually. And like, we just did a 5-man in Dota, and I was like, we were just pissing ourselves laughing, and like, we lost. And we were like, oh well, never mind. And like, it was just all fun, right? It was just lovely. Like,
I think that's it for me. It's like the modern, like, what's the word for it? Like, forum, the modern sort of open play. When you're against loads of other people, for me, just playing as randoms, then it's kind of the same as playing single player, except not with like, when you're playing single player, you've got the predictability of what the AI should do, and suddenly it's just like, if you're playing against other random people, my player experience is the same as if I'm playing single player, except everything I'm playing against is really weird, or sometimes unnecessarily good at the game, and it's like going like, I'm just trying to relax and play this, and there's some 12-year-old who plays it all day every day,
who has no life.
Horrifyingly good at it.
When he's only at school 9 to 5 Monday to Friday, and you're like 9 to 3 Monday to Friday.
My sort of multiplayer gaming stems back to like LAN party stuff. where you gather with 12 of your friends and only play with them, and you would all be wired to each other.
Back in the day, playing Unreal
And that sort of thing. That sort of
like that.
Yeah. That sort of
Unreal
thing.
tournaments when you're for all you and your friends. Yes.
But that sort of thing,
Yeah.
like that still kind of vibes me. So yeah, like online stuff. If there was particular games that I gelled with well enough to then have mates online that I could play basically in a lobby with just them.
Yeah.
Lobby. That's what I was after a minute ago.
Oh, is it?
But if I play in a lobby with just them, I think I'd be alright with that. Because then if you shit at it, like you just joke about with your mates. Like I was terrible at Quake 3, but I always had a good time playing against my buddies because I was playing with my buddies.
You have a little like fun griefing each other as well. Like you're playing on like Unreal 99, the Two Towers map, and then your mates decide to fire Redeemer at everyone, and it's like, great.
Fuck you, buddy. Fucking noob.
We used to do loads of LAN party stuff with Wolfenstein.
Love
And literally split the teams and have the two teams go in separate rooms. So you could so within your room, we wouldn't have headsets or anything. So within your room, you're just talking to each other. Because you're on LAN, but you couldn't hear what the other team was saying. Really
That's
good.
pretty epic, actually.
But yeah, that's the kind of multiplayer stuff like that vibes with me. So it's like, I guess the modern equivalent is like couch multiplayer, but that's not that common. I think it's why I just kind of fallen off the back of digital gaming a bit. Like,
I do miss LAN parties though so much, actually.
It used to be like LAN parties with like Halo 2 as well. And like
all of the Halos I've done LAN parties with. Like, when you're just like
put me on Blood Gulch with a warthog. Let's go.
Like Halo 1, 2 and 3, right? Me and my little brother did every single one of them on Legendary, right?
Same.
And my little brother was always the gunner, I was always the driver in everything, right? So he was just like, because he always used to cover my back, such a good gunner. But I've done like Unreal tournaments with like a whole bunch of people, like with like 8 people in one room, 8 people in another, and it might have been proper sweaty in there, but like we were all having a lot of fun. Like it was great.
But I think that's where I've lent more into the tabletop stuff these days, because I mean you can still get a group of people together.
Yeah, it's the same vibe, isn't it?
Yeah, same vibe as LAN party stuff, because you can get a group together, you can kind of have some say over who you want in your group and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And you know, with tabletop gaming, it's quite easy to set the metric of what you're after, whether you want sweaty competitive, or whether you basically just want to get together for a few beers and push some toy soldiers around and have a bit of a laugh that none of us can roll dice well, or anywhere in between the two. But you can do those, but you set that metric before you sort of go to play, whereas you can play online with randoms. Some of them will be after competitive level, some will be having a few beers in the evening, wind down after work, and you don't know the metric you're going to get until you dive in. So I think it's having the control over the experience that I'm going to get is a big important thing. So.
Definitely.
There's inside 9th edition everything actually in 40k. Like there was I did like all of the tournament scene, right, and there was some terrible human beings actually out. Like there was, and I'm like, I was just like, no thank you, I don't really like that very much. But then I've had like a whole bunch of other tournaments that were like really fun, friendly. Never had a single problem with anybody, like, and everyone was just having a massive giggle. I've had like little like mini tournaments just between friends, and we're just like, oh yeah, then we're going to play you two next, and like between 6 of us or something. But yeah, like there's also like I think like littler games as well. You get a lot more chill people. Do you know what I mean? Like
there's a smaller scene in general. You tend to get less bellends in a smaller scene because.
From Bellinger, also pretty quickly.
Well, there's one scene doesn't tend to deal with them, and also the people who really want to like only care about winning. There's less to win in a smaller scene.
You
know, if someone goes and wins a 1,000-person 40k like Las Vegas GT Open, that's big bragging rights. If you go and win a 10-person Rumble Slam event, it's a fairly small game with like nothing like.
You get like you get like a little plastic little model and when there's like a little trophy.
There's a difference of thing there as well. So people who only want to win aren't going to gravitate towards the smaller games.
Exactly.
I feel like we've organically skewed from the talking about painting to talking into the community.
Yeah, we have. There we go.
Rather than just
that's how we roll. That's how we roll.
Which is good. It was kind of off the back of what you were saying about the tournaments thing. if we round to the community thing, some of like the fastest friends or famous friends I've had in my life, I have made through wargaming.
Yeah,
some people have genuinely kept me alive at my lowest points. I know through wargaming.
Yeah.
Some of them I have only met through going to events. Some of them I've gaming clubs, whatever. I used to live in London and I ran a club up there. In Bristol, I've run various clubs. I've had parts in running various clubs and scenes down here. And some of the friends I've made along the way from various places in my life are some of the firmest friends I've ever had. Like, I mean, Ben, whose YouTube channel we're on, I know him from Reading. We know each other from going to events.
Yeah, that's correct.
And I've known him for at least a decade, if not longer.
5 years ago as well, from the first time I ever went outside, right, to I was with my tiny little Death Guard army, right, and I literally walked in and there's just Lee sitting down on the freaking table. That's the first person I actually met in Bristol was Lee. And he was like, "Hey man," I'm like, "Hi," and I was like shaky nervous. I was like, I've not been outside in ages. I don't know anybody, and this is a new city, new person. What is socializing? And he was like, "Yeah, man, we're all cool. Don't worry." And he was like, "You've got a table over here," and it was like, "Be playing against this person." And I'm like, "Hi." How do I play again? This is a tape measure, right? Okay.
It's something that these days now I'm more stable with my mental health. I still have ups and downs these days, but the downs aren't as bad. That sort of thing. But for me, knowing how the wargaming community has helped me, and like I said a few times, genuinely kept me alive.
Yeah.
London was nearly the end of me for various reasons.
Yeah.
The lowest possible points. I don't need to go into graphic detail about that. It's a mental health podcast. You all know what I mean.
Yeah.
But one of the guys I sort of had as a gaming club mate up there, who ended up living in one of the other rooms in my flat at the time, genuinely just kept me going as a person. A couple of the other mates who weren't part of the same gaming club, I lived in southwest London, they were over Hackney way, but a couple of those, I'd see them, once every couple of months or so, but whenever I did, I knew I was always going to have a good laugh, We'd travel around the country, going to various events as a group, and it was the small instances of that kept me going through everything else.
Yeah.
Until eventually London completely broke me and I just folded my hand and had to leave London. I left and came back down to Bristol. And then when I was down in Bristol, there was a lot of rough period when I first came down here. And again, wargaming it's consistent. Even if you didn't know anyone on the scene, you go for a game and cool, I know what I'm doing with this and I know what I'm doing with that.
Yeah.
Often as it's not, you'd when I first came down, some of us were gaming both the old Duke on King Street, the old pub.
Oh yeah.
So you'd have your game and then you go downstairs and have a beer and natter afterwards with the person, which is then how you get to know them, then how you become friends.
Yeah.
Some of the guys that, as time has gone on, run Bristol Gaming Collective with me. Some of the tiny crew, some of those stem back to those early years in Bristol for me, and going for beers with them. And some of them know it, some of them don't. But some of those have kept me alive through various rough points in the past, however many years. But these days, especially, I think using the plague as a bookmark. This side of the plague.
Hail Noga.
I find myself in a better mental space, and something I've been trying to focus on is, can I provide, through the gaming stuff and through where I now find myself, my position in the gaming community, can I help provide to other people what gaming's given me? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is not hard to do.
It's not. No. Tiniest bit of compassion. That's about it.
Yeah. And for me, some of it is building off of bad experiences. It's basically, rather than building off a good experience, rather than copying good experiences I've had in the past, I look back at bad experiences I've had with the gaming community and go, how would I do that differently?
How can you make that not happen to someone else?
When I was first in London, the first gaming club I went to, which wasn't the one I went to regularly, the first gaming club I went to, the first time I went there, I'd been chatting to them on their forum, said, first time down, I wasn't going to arrange a game, I was just going to pop in and say hi. They were above a bar, went in, got a drink at the bar, went upstairs, wandered around the 8 tables they had upstairs, no one even looked up from their game to say hi to me.
Wow.
And there was a couple of games going on for game systems I played, and I was like, oh, cool, that looks interesting. People barely even acknowledged me being there. I was like, I get you focus on your game.
Yeah, but like, come on, it doesn't take much.
Say hi.
Just, say hi.
It's why a thing like we have with the club these days is like, if someone new turns up, whoever's running like, make a point of saying hello to them.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be any more than that. It doesn't have to be ask for their full bio and their rundown and their backstory. Literally, just say hi. If they're along to play something else that they're playing, just find out who they're with, like blah blah blah. If they're just having a look, have a little natter with them.
Yeah.
It's not hard to do.
I always make it a point as well whenever I'm walking through places like that, and if I look around at the different models, and you go from like everyone's like somebody's just playing the Grey Army, and you're like that's really cool, man. Like you're here and you're turned up, and like you've got like one commander that you've painted, great. Like and you can sit there and like chat to them about stuff, and like I would say hi to most people now, from like look in and be like, hi guys, how you doing? I love your models, by the way. That's really great, and like just having like a bit of a chat with everyone, like it's very true, isn't it? Like, I've like some of the terrible experiences I've had, because I'm very, very similar. Like I come from Essex, so like I had like one or two like little times and everything when like I don't like collected on sea broke me, but there was like I met quite a lot of nerds, right? And we sit there and we can have a little chat, and some of them are like friends for life, and some of them stole my entire Dark Elder army. And I was like, rage, and then they moved away. And I'm like, I don't know where the fuck they've moved to. Like, where's my Dark Elder army? This was like before Facebook, really, like around when Facebook was first starting. But yeah, I will find you. I know. Yeah. I stopped literally just after that, and even after I was like, I'm done. Like, and then I moved to the West Country. Well, I went to uni, then I moved to the West Country, and then like. From uni and the West Country, like I hadn't picked up until I moved up to Bristol. Like 5 years ago, I went from like Exeter to Bristol, and like and started from there. Like, and I've had really bad experiences where like there was this one dude. We were talking about it the other day, weren't we, in the car? There was this one gentleman who I won't say his name, but essentially he's been banned from like any gaming group from like Manchester southwards. Yeah, like
the literal. Fuck is this person?
Like, don't get me wrong, like a lot of people are kind of used to like just like a bit low key cheating or something like that. Happens all the time.
Fuck on. Like you don't get banned like that.
No, you don't. No, like there are people out there like really sweaty heads who will sit there and not have a game. They want to cheat and like they want to win all the time and like that. It's an arsehole move, but like you're kind of used to it, right? Like this person this person was like when. On let's just say a Nazi rampage, and literally and we're like everyone's like, all right, fuck you, one of the big heads of the community and everything it was just like, what the fuck are you doing, anti-trans, anti-black, just any kind of how white's the master race, and that kind of crap, the people that you just want to be like, fuck you, and that was the worst experience I've ever had.
But thankfully, that is few and far between. That's the only human being I've ever met that's ever done that. To be honest, there's so few and far between. 99% of people have been I've made my best friends there. I've been literally even.
That's insane.
Yeah, I know. This is what honestly, but most people you will walk in, right? Literally, as I first of all met you and everything, I was, I'd just been split up from a divorce in the middle of lockdown. Things were just starting to open up again. I was still wearing a face mask, and
it's familiar territory.
Yeah, exactly. The first things, it was just the first thing that opened and everything, and I was shaky, hadn't really spoken to anyone other than my flatmate for the past 8 months, and then years before then, and everyone was in a quite bad relationship, and then I was not very socialised, and I walked in and was just like, hi guys, how you doing? Fuck, I don't know how to interact with the people anymore, and you're like, cool, let's go nerd things out, and you smell the odd scent of that glue, and glue and paint, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm home.
It's it's something like with the club and through my sort of thing. It's I've said a few times. It's trying to provide the space that has helped me in the past, or the space that like I wish I'd had at certain points in the past. That third space where like there's no sort of like compulsory reason. I mean, it's not a workspace, it's not a home space, it's another space. You don't have to be into any particular system. No. There's certain games clubs I know across the country that only really play one or two games. They only really, and it's no fault on them if that's what the club members want to play. There's certain ones that play basically only really 40k and Age of Sigmar. They're the biggest games. Like they're the biggest games for a reason. Yeah. But there's certain clubs that don't really branch out beyond that. It's more the London-based ones because there's so many different groups in London. So
you got a lot of
people find a different group for the game they want to play instead. Whereas we seem to have a community who then will decide what games, like the players will want to play and what games they want to play with each other, which is quite good. We've got such a diverse, vast player base and stuff. It's really good.
Honestly, like for people like just in Bristol, especially in general, like it's just you can find your tribe so easily. Like there's so many different people in here that are like just around. Like you can have a big old giggle, like talk to random people, just like be like, "Hi, how you doing?" Like especially in the gaming community, you can literally just walk up to anybody. It's such a lovely, friendly space. Like the reason why that person there was like renegated out and just got kicked out because a gaming club is a safe space, right, for anyone, everyone. Like the gay and trans community are like rife, like right the way through our community, right? Like because like we love them to pieces. Do you know what I mean? Like we're all nerds and we're all weirdos. Do you know what I mean? Like and like it's a good place to have like a good safe space and like to come and have a bit of a big old giggle with all your friends. But like it helped me immensely, for like just starting to get into painting and starting to like speak to people in the community, like because it helped me to kind of get out of my shell from like this weird nervous wreck. I felt I was weird, but I was about I was part of the course. You are, but like I am weird. But it helped me to like get out of my shell and then like start to concentrate on painting as well, where I started to get good at things. Actually helped me with my self-confidence because I was starting to improve on things and then starting to improve with the amount I was talking, and now I'm already podcast. Do you know what I mean? It helped with my public speaking, helped with everything. Like it's not just like you can gain self-confidence, you can gain like that little stepping stone just through the community.
The self-confidence I've gained through wargaming stuff. As a kid and teenager, and probably in my early 20s still, I couldn't talk to a stranger, let alone a room full of people. I could not I was bad at it. I literally couldn't. I would like seize up and freeze up kind of thing. I worked in bars for a bit to try. Effectively, I worked in bars when I was in my early 20s as part of a way to try and force myself to have to do it. Yeah, that makes sense. But even then, outside of having to do it for work, I couldn't do it. No. These days, with the gaming community, in the past, I've run 80-person events and just yelled at a room full of 80 people at the same time. I will wander around and talk to complete random people about stuff. It's the confidence that gaming has given me within that. It's kind of wonderful. It's helped me sort of, and it's now at a stage where it's not just within my little gaming environment. Like the character, the sort of growth I've had from that now it's made me more confident in general. But it stems from finding comfortable community first, then growing from there.
I am so there for that, by the way. I was in mute for decades. Like I just didn't speak. Like just nodded and and I did a very very similar thing. Like I started to work in a kitchen where it was I was just really nervous, and they just kind of got me to cook chips and stuff. And then I started to work at bars and stuff like that. And, I started to just learn my customer service face and that kind of stuff, and be like, yes, what drink can I get you, sir? To actually being able to just interact with anyone or walk into a random place and go, goblins, goblins, and talk to random people as they walk in the door, and it just doesn't matter anymore. That growth rate and just helps me to be a lot more just lovely of myself.
That's without even getting onto within the community. It's a lot of help. It helps with mental health, and oddly these days I find my level of effectively giving back to the community helps my mental health as well, definitely.
Yeah.
I also know that there's enough people there that if I do need help, I can lean on literally anyone in the crowd. Like,
which is always great.
There's,
it's always great to have those people
there's
around you.
some of the... I've been quietly trying to work out in my head the number while I sat here, but I can't exactly work it out. But there's probably close to half a dozen people within the gaming community whose weddings I've been at in the past few years.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't even across my lifespan. This is more recently, and it's probably about half a dozen weddings I've been to from friends I've made solely through gaming. Which, like, that's a good indicator of actually making a close friend. If you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Because sometimes you say you've made close friends, but actually you might only ever see them at a gaming thing, and they're still a friend, but like it's a different type of friendship. Isn't it?
Yeah.
There's like I don't know really how to kind of classify them, but like it's kind of like they're your friend, but in that environment, right? You'd say hello to them as they were, you met them down the road and be like, oh, cool, see you at the next gaming thing, like But then there's like friends when you go to weddings,
like
it's like your family basically.
Like gaming acquaintances.
And
then like your true like friends that you.
The way
anywhere.
I've described it in the past is there's friends who, if you're at the same thing, they're friends. But then there's you'd have them in your house friends. And that doesn't mean that your other friends aren't. It doesn't lessen the friendship you have with other friends, but there's a level of friends where you'd invite them around.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's that sort of thing, and so that's that sort of closeness of friendship kind of thing. And it's a bunch of friends, and I can't work out the exact number, but it's roughly half a dozen. I've been sat quietly trying to count it on my fingers, but combined with while still talking and having memory issues, I would keep going like that person. The person won again. No way.
They didn't get broken up and then divorced within 2 months. No, there's another person, isn't it? Just a list of big dudes with glasses and beards. Just
there's a few. My glasses are at home.
But like I have like very similarly as well. Like anyone in that kind of community, I've lent on them like emotionally. Like and so many people have either been through similar things or like exactly the fucking same. Like I walked into Big once, right, and I was like, I needed to get something for I don't know what. It's probably something Death Guardish, and I walked in and everything, and I was really emotionally distraught, and like I just had like a massive series of flashbacks and everything, and I was just sitting in the car, just shaking. And I was like, I needed to get out. I got out, and I was like, okay, let's concentrate on one thing and everything. And then like I think it was Ellen who was just like, you okay? Like the lady you met the other day. She's lovely, right? Honestly, she has hugged me and like held me crying more times than I can count. Actually, I've just been like, and she was like, "Are you okay?" And that's all it took. I was just I'm like, "No, I'm not okay." Like, and then like we sat down and had a cup of coffee and like talked about a few bits and like I've done it with like there's the elderly gentleman who walks in there just like just to paint and like paint this like really old like beautiful models. They're like they're just like World War II like aeroplanes and stuff like that, and he just sits there and like likes to paint them. And just chatted to him and everything as well. Like and like so many people as well. Like where like most of my friends are like neurodivergent, and if like any kind of issues with that kind of thing's going to grow up, or the amount of it's a lovely community. I love it to pieces. Like the amount of times that like I've also taught somebody who was like. I literally one kid and everything walked into one of the gaming groups and everything. And it was just like, can we like? Do you want like? I don't know how to play this game. And he just had a box of models, and I'm like, come on, mate. He was like, what? I'm like, come on, there we go, sit down. Like, there we go. Play out your models. What are you playing at the minute? And then you sit there and having a chat, and like you're like, cool. This is you got everything. You got tape measure. You got dice. You want to borrow any? Like just you sit there and you're being like, cool. Let's do like one squad, right? And then we'll do like. And I've literally done it through like a tutorial, like sitting there and like helping him. And then like, he was like, oh yeah, thank you, because I know that somebody else did it for me. Like
it's provide either the good bits of the experience that you had when you were younger, or if you didn't get those, provide what you wanted. Like break the chain and be the help and the experience that you needed, whether it was there or not, but that you needed when you were younger.
Yeah.
Because then if you help create that, it builds the community as a whole. Because then that person, if they like the game and they carry on with it, then few years' time, they'll learn the game, and then they'll be doing the intro for someone else, and then all of a sudden it builds that community, it builds that tightness.
This definitely like reminds me about like back when I was probably like 14 or 15. Used to hang out at the Games Workshop.
It would have been over at Cabot Circus.
Yeah, it was like around where Cabot Circus was at that point in time. There was a guy there, I can't remember his name, it's been so long ago. I'm terrible with fucking names anyway. But he was such a like really nice sound guy. Sat me down and we were chatting about like gaming in like my army when I was like painting, I think, the towel devilfish at the time. He also like introduced me to the game as a whole and like did a little like skirmish match with me and stuff like that. And just like it was such a nice like level, just like not anything like big or deep or anything, just like a really like a nice guy just like teaching me everything, just having a nice chat and just like being like really like nice and calm in the area instead of like super anxious at that time. Yeah, that was like really nice. Like went on to do like I think they did a thing where it was like every Sunday for like 3 Sundays in a row they get a load of people in, like make a few like little models, have a few like different games of like fantasy and 40k and just like see where you were with it, and like if you wanted to like do more like 40k or like fantasy and stuff like that. It was a really nice like teaching experience.
Exactly, isn't it?
Yeah, if I got into wargaming a bit more like you guys and everything, I'd definitely love to like promote that kind of aspect of it. Well,
just to bring it back as well, just to like giving like somebody else the experience that you wish you had, like is I feel like really, really healing. Like to sit there and like help a kid like just go through like the first basics of the hobby. Like you feel a bit sorry for them. Like you're gonna lose a lot of money. Like you're gonna spend so much money on so much plastic crack. Like but having a good healthy like I remember teaching people how to play Magic cards. Right?
Yeah.
Play Magic the Gathering. Like teaching people how to do that. That's been amazing.
That's
like,
my main teaching experience.
Exactly. Like and like. Like teaching somebody and like giving them the experience that you wish that you had is very, very healing, both for your own inner child and also like really good just to like do something good for somebody.
Yeah,
when like
gone to some tournament places for Magic and that has not been a fun experience.
No, it's not. I once I've got a Shield of Caldra, right, and a shiny Shield of Caldra that I got in my first ever tournament. It was my 14th birthday, right? The Shield of Caldra has my date of birth on it, like, and I was I was 12, like maybe even younger. But me and my brother went to Colchester, went to a Magic the Gathering tournament, and that was not fun. Like, I left after like my first game because they wouldn't give my little brother a seat, and I was like, fuck, like, blah, 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 blah. And like, yeah, it was so bad. So bad. I knew how to play the game, but doing it in that environment, like your brain just goes nope and just disappears.
There's a certain place in Bristol, I will not say what it is, but I never have a very fun experience there with any dirty stuff.
Yeah. It's fun. It's fun.
Now we'll go for a quick little break.
Yeah.
And then be right back for the next Alpha podcast.
Cool.
See you guys soon.